Hello everyone. Today we will review the first in the G.I. Joe movie series, G.I. Joe The Rise of Cobra. Actually, going back and watching this film, I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I did the first time watching it. I guess maybe that's because it's just such, well, it is an older film. I shouldn't say it's super old. It's 11 years old, so I guess it's been a while since I've seen the first one. I've watched the second one quite a few times because I enjoy it a little bit more, but just for this movie, I would say based on the animation, if it was just, it seemed too heavy with trying to make it more about the CGI and the effects than actually creating any sort of story. I mean, there was some backstory to the characters, I suppose, but that didn't seem to be the main focus of the movie. So this movie was kind of more redeemable with some of the action scenes, I guess, that weren't so CGI based as opposed to any other aspect in the movie. But there was some sort of story, and I'm just, whoops, my flashlight's still on my phone. And I'm just going to look up the one character's name here so I can reference him because it's kind of important towards the end, what he ends up doing. So, just give me 1 second here. Because I can't, they only mention his name once or twice, and then he's kind of just not in the movie after that, so I can't spell. Where is he? Ah, yes, Zartan. Okay, so this movie is basically, we start off with in 1641 with these two clans disputing, and the one guy is selling arms to both sides, and the French end up capturing him and making him wear this mask for the rest of his life so that the people will never forget and won't ever know who he is, I guess, kind of his true identity. So then we go into the future, obviously the present, even though it says a short time in the future, it's just like 300 and something years, right? So it's a big jump in time. Anyhow, so we go to the present, or at least when this movie came out, it would have been considered the present. And this movie, or in this company called Mars, is creating these warheads that contain these nanomites that basically eat through anything it touches, so it can destroy anything from a small tank in the desert to an entire city. So everybody's trying to get their hands on these warheads. They're being transported by Duke and his team, who is Channing Tatum's character. Channing Tatum's name in this movie is Duke. And then the bad guys come in and try to stop them, and then during this whole battle and situation, Duke finds out that Anna is the one trying to get the warheads from him, we end up finding out that that was the girl that he proposed to 4 years prior, and he goes on a mission with her brother, and unfortunately, it looks like her brother dies in the airstrike that gets called in far too early, and then we find out that her brother is actually alive. He's the doctor underneath the guy who runs this Mars company, and he's trying to get funding so he can do more of his research, because what he found in the lab, in the bunker that he was in, him and this doctor survived, so he's perfected what this other doctor couldn't over the years to basically transform the whole human body and make you look like somebody else. So that's what he does to Zartan, because at the end of the movie, you see that the president is put into his bunker after Mars was able to launch the missiles with the nanomites in them. And so the bunker is controlled by Mars, and the doctor is able to put nanomites into the people to somehow control their brains, I guess, in a sense, so that they just carry out these random tasks. So they let Zartan in, and him and the real president end up trading spots at the end of the movie because he does his for he's a jolly good fellow whistle once he gets into the chair. So though going back to Anna and Duke, he finds out that that's who it is that's trying to get these missiles away from him to get them back to Mars so that they can arm them. And so basically it's just kind of like this whole chase movie. And then there is Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, who have known each other since they were kids. They trained together, so now they're on opposite sides of the fence. And I would say the movie's most redeemable parts were probably the fight scenes between them, even as kids and as adults. They have a huge fight scene at the very end of the movie. So I would say this movie kind of made up for itself within the last probably 20-30 minutes, because that was the biggest battle scene and the fight scene between them. So there are quite a few interactions between Duke and Anna throughout the movie, especially the Paris scene where they are able to actually detonate one of the warheads and bring down the Eiffel Tower. Fortunately, Duke is able to stop it before it can do any damage to the entire city of Paris, because that would have been bad. Hundreds of thousands of lives obviously would have been lost. So thank God they were able to do that. Anna, at the end of the movie, I guess the nanomites aren't reacting properly in her system. Basically, her brother betrayed her because her brother isn't dead, as we all know. He's the doctor. So he put these nanomites into her head so he can control her. So he threatens to kill her to Duke. Duke's able to save her at the end of the movie. And I guess it kind of is like a little bit of foreshadowing for her to come over to the other side and be with the Joes instead of be with this new group known as, God, what is it? The Doctor turns the guy who owns Mars at the end of the movie into Destro, and he becomes, well, I guess he just becomes, there was another name he said at the end, the Commander. But what was it that he was going to... I guess we find out in the next movie what he's going to be commanding, because I can't remember what name it was that he said. But yeah, I'm going to review the second movie in this series anyhow. What else was I saying? Yeah, he saves Anna at the end, which is kind of foreshadowing, and I guess Destro kind of has like the mask that his ancestors wore, but it's more... a reconfiguration from the nanomites as opposed to anything else. So was it the McCullen clan or it might have been the McCullen clan. I can't quite remember the total, his last name. Anyhow, they are able to take down the two warheads before they hit. One's headed to Moscow, and the other one is headed to the United States. So the Joes are able to take those down and save the day. And then, of course, the huge battle scene between, once they find the underground bunker or lair, I guess, kind of thing, under the polar ice caps, there's this huge underwater scene with all the underwater warships that they have, so that was kind of cool. But other than that, yeah, the CGI in this movie, even for its time, I guess I probably would have realized it even back then, that it was kind of definitely they could have put more into it for certain scenes. It just felt like maybe they didn't have the budget for it, I guess, so they kind of tried to focus more on the mixed martial arts between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, which definitely made up for some of the horrible and computer graphic imagery that was in this movie. So, because of that, this movie didn't have too many redeemable qualities besides that. So I would say, overall, as a whole movie, this was a 5.5 because it did have some really bad acting in certain parts, especially the one beginning scene going back to the first time when you see the bad guys coming in from Mars trying to get the warheads, and the one helicopter driver gets blown up by one of the ships that the bad guys have, and he doesn't even react. He's just kind of like blank face and just kind of goes, "Oh my God," as like he's about to die. So they could have chosen some better, I guess, secondary characters or secondary actors for those parts, just because, yeah, it was, some of it was just not the best quality acting. And there were some movies. There were some people in here that I would have had liked to have seen have a little bit of a bigger role, like Brendan Fraser. He's only in there for the training part of it, and I don't remember him being in the second movie. So I think that was it. He was just kind of there to say that he had an appearance, I guess, in the movie. But I would have liked to seen him do a little bit more. I guess maybe he might be returning for another Mummy movie. Maybe, who knows? Now I'm kind of rambling, so I think I will cut it off here. Yeah, 5.5 would be my rating, just because overall as a movie, this wasn't as great as I remember it being. Or maybe I didn't even really like it that much back then because I haven't got back to watch this one in years. But I do like the second one, so I'll probably have a better opinion of it. But anyhow, don't let that don't let this review deter you from going to watch the movie. It's still, if you like movies, you kind of got to watch this one to lean into the second one anyway, so that you kind of understand what's going on. And yeah, please like, comment, share, subscribe to this video. And yeah, that's it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.